everyone. This DIY is going to start with 4 of these wood crates. Everything today will be from Dollar Tree. I do recommend sanding it down really well. And I'm going to take them out and spray them with this Krylon white paint. This is how they turned out. As you can see, I sprayed them all the way around, including the insides. And at first I started to paint them with this satin chocolate paint, but it looked more like a stain once it dried. So then I switched to burnt umber. You'll also need one of these little bird houses, also from Dollar Tree. I also sprayed it with the white chalk paint. Now I'm going to remove the little peg. I did not sand this one down, which was a regret of mine. So just be sure that when you get all of your pieces, you sand them all down really well. And then I'm going to paint the little birdhouse in the burnt umber paint as well. This is going to be a candy themed Christmas train, and so all of the cars will look like chocolate. For the wheels, I took the wheels off the little wood cars from Dollar Tree, and I was just trying to show you how it would look with the wooden wheels. I plan to paint them to look like little peppermint swirls. So that is one option for the wheels. The second option were the wheels, the wagon wheels from this little play set from Dollar Tree. And that's how those look on the crates. So I decided to go with the wagon wheels. I obviously am going to paint them to go along with the theme, but I just like the height that it gives the crates. They are able to sit higher than with the little wooden wheels, but you can use the wood wheels if you would like to. So I took the wheels apart and I stuck them onto a piece of foam. I took them out and sprayed them with the same white chalk paint spray paint. And this is how they look. I did paint both sides. Now I'm going to use this Waverly paint in crimson. Dollar Tree also has red paint. Okay guys, so initially this was the plan. I was going to go through all of those wheels and paint every other spoke red. And had I done that, I would probably still be doing it right now. It takes a while to do. It gives a cute effect, but I thought I would try something different. So I took a fine tipped brush. It came from a set that I actually got from Dollar Tree. Dipped it in the crimson paint and then just kind of made this swirly motion. And it almost gives the spokes a candy cane like look. So I decided that that was a more efficient use of my time. And so I went through and did that to all of the wagon wheels. And then I decided that I wanted to add some sparkle. So I brushed the wheels with some glossy Mod Podge and sprinkled some red glitter, also from Dollar Tree, over them. And so I'm going to do that to all of the wheels. And while they dried, I took some white felt and I cut them into 1-inch strips. You can make these as thick or as thin as you want to. You could use the little roll cutter to cut the felt, or you could use scissors, and I'm just making sort of swirly cuts, just like that. So when you finish, you'll have 2 sets from 1 strip, and this is going to be sort of like dripping icing to go along the top of the crates or the little train cars. For the birdhouse, I cut a strip for the top, and I'm going to cut the edges in a swirling fashion. So I went ahead and hot glued the top down. Now I'm going to add some of the felt to the edges of the little house. So once I've cut all of the felt for the edges of the train cars, I decided to paint the very tops of them with some white chalk paint. They don't have to be completely covered. It's just to give it an additional snow effect, so there's not just plain brown peeking over the top of where we're going to hot glue the sort of dripping effect. I also painted the top of the little birdhouse and also along the sides. Now I'm going to use some hot glue and hot glue the white felt dripping effect all the way around the cars. It should look something like that. This would also look really cute with pink felt. Now I'm going to measure 1/2 inch, and the reason why I'm marking this off, I'm going to do this on all of the crates. When you add the wheels, you want them to be in the exact same place for all the cars. I added a little bit of hot glue to hold them down, and then I went back over the top of the wheels to secure them in place. And when I line up all of my cars next to each other, all of their wheels are in exactly the same place. Just taking that little extra step makes a big difference in the overall look. So this is going to be the engine part, and the wheels were glued upside down. Now I'm going to take the little birdhouse and hot glue it to the top of the crate. So I'm going to hot glue it in place. And that's what it should look like so far. Okay guys, so I wanted to make some cotton candy to fill my cars with. So I have some polyfill, I have some pink eyeshadow, and I'm going to use the e.l.f. brush that I got from Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to pounce it all over the polyfill until it takes on the color that I want. Ideally, I would have liked a more sort of baby pink, but this was the only pink eyeshadow that I could find. And you will get pink fingers from doing this as well. So there you can see all of the cars are filled with their little cotton candy. Now I'm going to make additional candy to put on the little train cars, and I'll be using this modeling clay from Dollar Tree. I'm going to use the red, the white, and the pink, but you can see all those colors there. You can make yours as colorful as you would like to. So I'm just going to roll these out. I'm by no means a expert on this particular method. I just thought I would give it a try. You could absolutely buy candies, gumdrops, or peppermints, or whatever kind of candy you want to use, and hot glue it onto your Christmas train. I would recommend covering it with maybe some shellac or something else to sort of seal it in. But if you don't want to do that, you can use a method like this. Also, working with this clay, it also stains your fingers, so just be mindful of that. You can see as I rolled it onto the craft paper, even the craft paper turned pink from rolling the red and the pink clay. You could easily turn those swirls into lollipops. You could insert a toothpick or a bamboo skewer cut down. So I crisscross the peppermints, the candy canes, and I hot glued them onto the engine. And I know I want to put 4 of the swirls on the engine, so I'm just figuring out the pattern for that. And I'm just going to hot glue them in place. I also am going to use some of these fairy pieces to go on the train. And for the cars, I'm going to place more of the swirly candies and hot glue them in place as well. For the little middle car, I did have to make an extra little swirly so it wouldn't be the only car with 2 candies. Now I'm going to take some glossy Mod Podge and this glitter. I did get this glitter from Walmart. Dollar Tree also has the same glitter, just in a smaller package. I put those in a bowl together and mixed them until it was completely mixed. And I just used a paintbrush to help paint the white felt to give the snow or the icing sort of a glistening effect. And I did that on all the cars, all the way around. And I also went around the top edges of the little train cars as well. I also went over the candy swirls with the Mod Podge glitter combo. These are 3 wheels from the little wood cars from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to paint them with the same burnt umber paint, and they are painted all over on both sides and on the edges. While those dry, I'm going to take some of these split wood beads and paint them with this pink hydrangea paint. I picked that up from Target. You can use whatever pink paint you want or whatever color paint you'd like to use, whatever your color theme is. I will link these split wood beads below. I did get them from Amazon. Once the wheels have dried, I'm going to use a dot of hot glue and glue them together. I then glued them onto the front of the engine. Now I'm going to take some of this white fabric paint and create sort of an icing effect on the front of the little wheels that I just glued on. And while it's still wet, I'm going to sprinkle some Epsom salt all over it. Now I'm going to take the same glossy Mod Podge and I'm going to go over the little pink wood beads. And while they're wet with the Mod Podge, I'm going to sprinkle the Epsom salt over them as well. And that's going to turn them into little gumdrops. I would recommend going over it again with the Mod Podge once this first layer dries to seal it in. And once that's done, I'm going to hot glue them onto the front of the engine. These are some of the little gingerbread stickers that Dollar Tree has this year. They're so cute. So I cut one down at an angle, and I want her to be the little conductor for our train, and she's going to be hanging out of the window and waving to everyone. And that's how she looks once she's hot glued into place. Now I'm going to use some pieces from this picture hanging kit. I'll be using 3 of these small hangers. And what I did was to bend one end of it up. I know it's hard to see. I just bent up the edge right there, and that's the part that I'm going to hot glue to the car. This other end right here, I'm going to use this little round piece, and this is how I'm going to attach the cars to each other. But I am going to first bend them all up into place, and then I'll be using the same crimson paint to paint all of them. Now I will be taking 4 of these triangle wood forms or MDF forms from Dollar Tree, and I will be using these adhesive cork sheets to turn these into mountains to go behind our train. So I just used a straight edge and traced over the cork sheets. And of course my craft paper cut as well, which isn't a problem, that's what it's there for. And I'm just going to peel it back and adhere it to the back of the triangle form. I also covered the sides, as you can see, and then I cut some white felt to look like, or to make the mountains look like snow-capped mountains. Now I'm going to take the same glitter and Mod Podge mix and go over the white felt so that our snow-capped mountains will have a glittery effect. And now let's see what everything looks like together. Comment below and let me know how you think the train turned out. I think this train turned out so cute. I was able to use some of the little fairies and gnomes, as well as the little fairy houses from Dollar Tree's little sweet shop fairy garden to help decorate the train. And I really love how the little mountains turned out. That cork sheet is the perfect material to give them that organic look. And that is how the little connectors turned out that are painted red, that are hooking the trains to one another. I took one of the little beads from the wood cars to plug the little hole left from me taking the peg out, and I love our little gingerbread girl conductor. Thank you guys so much for joining me for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this project. I had such a great time making it, and the possibilities, as I said, are endless on all of the things you can do to make this your own. I hope you guys are doing well, staying safe. And if you would like more content like this, I would love for you to subscribe to my growing channel. Don't forget to hit that little notification bell so YouTube will let you know when I've uploaded a new video. If you liked this little train, please go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. And I will see you in my next one. Take care, everyone. Bye.